From the words of Jesus to the Hebrew prophets, the Bible has a lot to say about the end times. We discuss the current state of affairs in the Middle East through the lens of the Scriptures. Do you see any prophetic elements in this axis of Russia, Iran, and Turkey?
I do, Chris, and I write about it in the book. You know, I deal in one of the sections about how do Christians, and particularly evangelicals, how do we see Israel and the Middle East? If I'm dealing with this book that's covering how the Iranians see us, how Israel sees them, how the Arabs see Israel, how the Arabs see Iran, all these different angles, and I've been invited to go meet with so many of the leaders in this country and in the region, with me, as an evangelical. So I thought, I need to have some element of this book that briefly looks at what do evangelicals think. And of course, evangelicals don't all agree on issues of prophecy, but I lay out some of the major prophecies. Of course, the main one here would be Ezekiel 38 and 39, what's known as the War of Gog and Magog, where in my analysis, I believe that prophecy is dealing with a dictator who rises in Russia and builds a military, strategic, political alliance with the leaders of Iran, then known as Persia, and Turkey, and several other countries in this region to surround Israel in the last days of history and try to consume Israel. Israel has to be reborn as a country. That's the prerequisite. Well, here we are. The prophecies say that Israel has to rebuild the ancient ruins. It has done so. That Jews have to be flowing back into the land after centuries of exile. Well, we know that's come to pass, and it's continuing to come to pass. And Israel has to be prosperous. Israel's more prosperous today than any other time in its modern history. And Israel has to be feeling secure. Now, that's an open question, whether that box can be considered checked. But in the grand scheme, most Israelis feel like, yeah, okay, we understand that people hate us, but we are more secure today than at any other time in the history of the Jewish people, going back to King David and King Solomon. So that's really interesting, right? I'm not saying that I know that we are close to seeing Ezekiel 38 and 39 unfold, but most people who are going to be reading this book have never really thought much about those prophecies, and they're worth understanding.
Alpha,